to a special edition of Mississippi Stories. I'm your host, Marshall Ramsey from Mississippi Today. I draw cartoons and I'm editor-at-large as well. Hey, thanks for joining us. And if you want to check out any past episodes of Mississippi Stories, you can go to MississippiToday.org. We got a great show today. Thank you for being with us. We have with us Dorlisa Hutton with SR1.
Yes.
And I love y'all's mission. I love your story. And I'm so glad that you and I get to sit and talk today and talk a little bit about it. And I was just sitting there looking at the tripod the camera's on. And y'all literally have a tripod too when it comes to kids. And I love this. It's health equity, education equity, and technology equity.
That's great.
And one thing I can tell you about a tripod, if you shorten one of the legs, guess what happens? Everything falls over. And it's kind of that same way with kids too. And I guess a good place to start would be, tell me a little bit about you, and then we'll jump into that tripod.
Okay, and thank you so much for having me. My name is Dorlisa Hutton, as you mentioned. I've been here at SR1 since 2011. It's not a job, it's a passion, and it's something I enjoy doing every day. The organization as a whole, as you mentioned, we have that tripod effect. I like that. I'm going to use that.
Oh, you can steal it.
I will definitely. But we understand that a child is a whole person.
Yes.
And with being a whole person, you can't improve education if you don't also look at the health aspect, if you also don't look at the technology aspect. Yeah. And here in Mississippi, we know we have a lot of disparities, especially when it comes to things such as education, health, and technology. And so with our students, we want to take those three areas and use them to build their ability to be college ready, but also, most importantly, also be socially prepared. We work a lot with colleges and universities, and one thing professors always tell us, even the brightest, most intellectual student, it's usually those social skills that stop them. So in addition to that health, that education, and that technology, we also wrap them with social skills building as well.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like, for instance, if a kid's hungry, he's not going to be, or she's not going to be able to pay attention and learn. So like you said,
Yes.
the health aspect and everything else is so important.
And here in Mississippi, if we look at our youth, we consistently have high numbers in childhood obesity. And we know high numbers in childhood obesity will lead to diabetes. Yeah. And we're seeing an increase in juvenile diabetes, which means we're going to have an increase in adult diabetes. We're also having students and youth who are diagnosed earlier with issues such as hypertension. And so with our health aspect, what we like to do is provide them, as you mentioned, if I don't know how to be healthy, if I don't even know how to cope with the stress that I might be enduring from an adult or even in my life, we give them those skills they need: physical, healthy eating, nutritious eating. We even, as an organization, last year we provided over 500 pounds of fresh, organic grown collard greens to our students and families. Again, we have to understand we also have food deserts here. Even with Jackson and the surrounding areas being as populous they are as the state, we still have areas that are food deserts. Everyone can't hop in a car and drive to Whole Foods or Fresh Market and get fresh food. So we're educating our families, our students, on how to use what they have to be more healthy and make those healthy choices. We also understand some of our students don't have access to safe walking trails. So we're providing them access to those types of activities with our health initiatives.
How did it come about to create the triad? How did it come? Because obviously, and tell us a little bit how the company got started too.
Well,
it's a great superhero origin story.
It is. So our superhero is Mr. Green, Mr. Tamu Green. I just get to tell the story from his dream and his vision. But he is from Forest, Mississippi in Scott County. Grew up in a rural area. Those of us who are from rural Mississippi understand as students and children, we don't have access to a lot of things. So he went on, graduated, went to Mississippi State. While he was at Mississippi State undergrad, he realized, wow, majoring in computer science. And I feel like I can tell his story because I know it. But he said, hey, I don't have a computer. It would be great if you're going to major in computer science to have access to a computer even before you make it to Mississippi State. He went on and graduated from Mississippi State undergrad, returned and got his master's there, his MBA. And even as he worked in state government, he still had that inkling of, I need to do something, I need to give back. So he founded SR1, grassroots, community focused. And so he put that vision into place to help students, especially underrepresented first generation students, be prepared for college. And with that, he's built a great, what I like to call a family atmosphere here at SR1. as I mentioned, it's a family versus just coworkers,
Right.
which is a good environment. And we're able to give that back to our students and also our families. Our students, they come through a pipeline. Mr. Green didn't want a program where you come for a week, nice to meet you, keep going. No, he drew out a complete pipeline that starts from early education and moves on through your life and career goals being met. So even students that we meet in elementary students, the goal is to keep them till they graduate from college.
Oh, wow.
One of the first groups that I was lucky enough to come on board when I was hired, they were middle school 6th graders. They've now graduated from college. Some of those students have come back to serve as volunteers and mentors for different aspects of our programs, from robotics to just how to be prepared for college. And so that's the kind of just true family pipeline that he's given. Also from some of their students, families and mothers have gone back to college. They were able to see what the program did for their students, how excited they were for education, how college at one point was not an option because no one had been to college. It's now a reality and they've completed, but also parents have returned to school to complete as well.
That's been incredibly rewarding for
It
you
is.
every day to get to see that. And I can imagine too, the students really do respond to when the mentors come back.
They really do.
Yeah.
And it's great. They're peers to them
Yeah.
at that point. It's not an old person, because
Yeah.
I've been told I'm a dinosaur now, especially by some of our lower elementary, like, whoa, that's old. Where were you born? But no, they have someone who they feel like they can resonate with,
Yeah.
especially our high school students. What I like to say, technology. We also teach them, and I'm linking this back to our high school students, with everything that they have at their fingertips with social media.
Yeah.
We also provide social media training.
Really?
So you know what to
I
do,
may sign
what
up
not
for
to.
that.
Exactly. And it puts them just in a situation, I like to say, we maybe didn't have bullying until
Yeah.
we made it to school, or maybe
Right.
we're in the neighborhood. Now for them, it's constant.
24/7.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so we're seeing a rise also in mental health issues with our students, especially when we were coming back from COVID. But one thing that we've done as an organization to counteract that, we have a counselor on board, certified licensed, who serves mainly youth and families. And so our high school students actually, and this is something, they were getting together on Saturdays.
Really?
At first it was just an hour.
Mm-hmm.
They approached us and say, hey, can we extend this to an hour and a half? But it gave them an outlet, and they had someone who they trusted. The parents trusted because she was licensed and she was able to deal with some of those issues they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
You know, anybody's ever done any work with trauma, and especially with childhood trauma,
Mhm.
it's true to say, if no matter what they've been through, if they have somebody that they believe is their champion or they believes in them, that's huge. That'll help them be able to grow and be able to get past that trauma.
Yeah.
That's something that y'all can provide, because
Yes.
they know they can come here and it's a safe place and they're going to get a good educational experience. So I would imagine education equity, the second part of the triad, that probably lands right there. It's
Yes.
giving them a good, safe place with lots of different variety. And like you said about Mr. Green, being able to have that computer before they
Yes.
actually end up in college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with the educational component, K through 12 pipeline
Mhm.
completely, so they can start in K, and we do what we call year-round services. So we have academic services during the year, so those are during the week and also on Saturdays. But then we also host a 5-week summer camp, and let me just mention, all our services are free.
Okay, back up. All
yes,
of them were free.
all of them are free. So as an organization, we work hard to make sure we have funding, and also we always love great volunteers and donors.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a great project with a true proven track record, SR1 is it to donate to. Our students are able to receive free services, high quality
Mhm.
educational services. And so we engage them in weekly, what we call services. So if every week has a theme, even during our academic component. So everything from cultural arts, science, math, reading, college, civic literacy, that's combined. When we come to our summer camp, which is a 5-week summer camp, which our great partner, Millsaps College, we've hosted there since 2011. We only missed 1 year, which was 2020 due to COVID. Campus was shut down. But with that, 5 weeks, we go from 8:45 in the morning. Drop off can be earlier for some parents if they need to, but we go into 1. And so we have different age divisions that the
Mhm.
students are divided into, and they're able, what I greatly love about summer camp is you have students coming from Hinds County, Madison County, Rankin County, various counties, and they're coming together. And you see those friendships that blossom and bud, and they continue on after camp. But with summer camp, for instance, we start off every year with Health Week. And so it's a great way to get them engaged. They're excited. We divide and talk about things such as mental health, physical health. We move on and we have Science Week, we have Math Week, we have Cultural Arts Week. Last year's summer camp, we actually focused on Japan. And we had someone from Nashville at the Japanese Outreach Exchange, and she actually came down and hosted a ceremonial tea with our students. So it's making those impacts in their lives, exposure that they may not get. Also during the summer and academic year, we take college tours. Who can go to college for the first time? And that's it. So we want to make sure they're engaged, and also it gives them an opportunity to explore different universities. Think about to some of our students, took them to LSU, loved LSU, I'm going to be a Tiger. Came back, Mississippi College, realized, hey, a smaller college environment is me. This is where I need to go. And what Millsaps offers also, our high schoolers are there during the academic year, and then that pipeline K through 12 during the summer. I'm being accustomed, this is norm for me. This college campus, this college classroom, eating in the cafeteria is not intimidating. Going into the chemistry lab and having a great professor such as Dr. Timothy Ward, doing experiments and showing them beakers and graduated cylinders and how that all works together. So I'm walking in as a freshman, been here before, I've done this. I'm able to accomplish my task.
That's amazing. I guess once you take that whole fear of the unknown out of it makes it so much easier.
Exactly.
Definitely on that. How many students do y'all normally serve in a year?
So on a good year, since we're getting back up from
every
COVID,
year's a good year,
every year's a
especially
good year.
after
COVID, yes, especially after COVID, but we're averaging 300.
300.
Yep.
Yeah, 300. How did y'all handle COVID? How were you able to provide services to the students when you weren't able to be with the students?
So we had to pivot fast, and we did pivot fast. So we did online virtual learning. Everything from ACT prep was transitioned online because we provide that for students free as well. That was provided, just tutoring. And then we also, Mr. Green is this innovative mindset. So he developed a challenge. We called it our Cool Challenge. And so we had 3 different challenges. They ran for 4 weeks. Each week on a Monday, packets that were grade level appropriate were mailed out to students. So they covered everything from critical thinking skills, English, math, and science. And so they had until Thursday to complete those. Even during the week, if they needed assistance, our tutors, our educators as we call them, were able to assist. We provided the envelope for them to mail them back in. So they just would return those. We kept a tracker each week on our social media. Our students were posted with their points, and so it really got them engaged. I mean, they were working. We even had some of our school districts to say, how are you all getting and turning our packets? Because we're sending them home as well, and they're not returning them. But it's just that trust and what we built with our students, but it was great. So we did online learning, but also we still kept some things paper-based. Even summer camp that year, we moved online. And so we, the students were able to either come and pick up the items they needed, or we did door-to-door drop-off to make sure they had the supplies for that particular week's activities.
That's great. So you were still engaged, even though
we kept them engaged.
Yeah, and that's really hard because I know a lot of the Zooms that I've participated in with some of the schools, you know, as soon as those kids turned off that camera, you realize,
Oh, they would be ready. I mean, it was some days, K through second, we get confused as to what time they would come on, and they would try to come on with the other groups too, and we would be like, it's not your time yet, but we're going to get to you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us a little bit about, because you mentioned some of your partners, obviously Millsaps, and you've got great partnerships with many of the colleges around a little bit, but tell us who your partners are and how did they get involved?
Okay, I'll start with the Mississippi Museum of Natural Science. That partnership has been since before I made it here. Mr. Green and
well, they have dinosaurs there, right?
They have everything.
So you're not a dinosaur.
Not a dinosaur, but one thing about the museum that a lot of people miss, of course, we see the exhibits that's out front, but our students have been able to go in the background.
Oh, nice.
So they see where the research is being done. We're able to see animals that are extinct to Mississippi now. We're able to see their furs. We're able to understand the cataloging that goes into keeping the museum up and running. And also it provides opportunities, volunteer opportunities for our students, whether it's research or you want to volunteer out front in the area. Also, the museum provides our students the opportunity, our robotics students in particular, take advantage of going to their community forums. So whether it's family science night, we also just wrapped up Nature Fest. And so it gives our students the opportunity to interact and have those social communication skills. And so that's a great way, learning, but also social building. Millsaps colleges, we've already mentioned, they're able to provide us space for our students to learn and have that college environment. Holmes Community College here in Ridgeland, they are a great partner as well. Again, that's another community area college that our students are able to go to. So again, I'm not intimidated. And also it debunks that myth for some students who feel like, oh, community college is the 13th grade. No, community college is a great way to save money, get the courses you need, and also what we like to tell them, you can become Phi Theta Kappa, which means when you finish in those 2 years, keep your GPA up, scholarship money is awaiting you at a 4-year Mississippi institution.
That's a big part of what y'all do, is you really teach the kids, by the way, these are ways that you get a good ACT, or you can take an AP class, or these are ways for you to be able to save money, which is really important in college.
Things I wish I had known.
Yeah, no kidding. I got kids in college. I understand how that works. Speaking of me being a dinosaur. Real quick, I'm going to say the third, we touched, because I'm in the room right now, I'm looking around, which you can't see on the camera, of course, but there's a lot of technology in this room right now. Technology is the third of the triad. Tell us a little bit, because it's really great, the STEM part of what the education, that you're giving kids an opportunity to really get a high-paying career.
That's it. So technology is important. Even with our lower grades, K through second, we like to use, it's called Cosmo. So he teaches them everything from math to literacy, and it's hands-on for them and it's engaging. We have iPads, we have desktop, we have laptops that are available. In addition, we have what we call our SNAP circuits, which teaches our students hands-on electrical engineering. So it's different projects. So everything with learning from resistors, ohms, volts is able to teach them. I mentioned robotics. We do have a robotics team for our middle and high school students. And each year they're given a challenge and they design their robot on their own. We have mentors, Miss Kia Graham with Shell, which is one of our partners as well. She serves as one of their main mentors. We also have smaller EV3 robots that all our students can use. But again, it's used to reinforce things such as science and math. So if you're learning about circumference, that's boring, just saying, let's talk about circumference. But we can use the robots to actually where the kids see the rotation on the wheel. They're able to measure the distance. And then even with that, teaching critical thinking, because once they master understanding how to program the robot, then we have obstacle course competitions, and the teams really get excited about those. We have our science area where our students can do everything from dissections. We have microscopes. They also learn about agriculture. That's an area in Mississippi that sometimes we don't think about as STEM, but we're in Mississippi, why not ag? So we have a variety of technology the kids can use. And some of our kids still don't have access to internet at home. So again, here is a great way for them to come.
So, I mean, really at the end of the day is that you make education come to life for the kids. That's huge. I want our last couple minutes here, tell us a little bit about, of course, how people can find out more about you. I know you have a great website, but also too in ways that they can help.
So, and if I can say one more thing, we do have our charter school that is open
that's right.
in August.
I wasn't trying to blow past that. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Another dream and vision of Mr. Green's. We're starting off with K in first grade. So that will be located north of Canton, Mississippi. So any students in Canton Public Schools, Holmes Public Schools, Yazoo City, Yazoo County, the surrounding areas, it's a free public charter school. So it's free and it's open, and they're welcome to enroll. You can actually visit our website for that one. It's www.SR1CPSA.org, and you can go there for more information and enroll. And if you'd like to learn more about the organization, our website is www.sr1tech.org. And we're also available by phone at any time at 601-206-4644. 4544.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, because like I said, that, of course, COVID slowed you down on that, but it's about to literally spring up from there. I think it's over 40 acres up there, so it's going to be really a cool environment for the kids too.
Yes, it'll be the first STEM-focused charter school in the state of Mississippi, so we're excited about that. Starting students off early in STEM. What that does, it invests early in the economy of Mississippi.
Exactly.
In the workforce, and so we're excited to be a part of that.
But you're also giving kids not only an opportunity, but to give them the belief that they can do great things.
That's it, and that's one of the most important things. And a child who knows an adult believes in them, their performance exceeds any potential that they may have with just not having that adult.
Yeah, well, we were talking a little bit before we started recording a little bit about how you have people come in and talk to the kids and have the mentorship also, so that they can actually meet people that do weird things like, draw cartoons. I'll just throw that one out there. But
and who are dinosaurs.
But you know what? When I was back when the dinosaurs were on the planet, it was great, by the way. They were scary, but they were pretty nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, they would, they'd shake your hand and stuff.
And that's it. And so we introduced them to those people. We've had geologists who've come back and given them information and talked to them about fossils and things.
But I met a cartoonist when I was 8.
And it made a difference.
Yeah, and I'm one today. And that's why it's so important that you get those kids the opportunity. And that's a big part of what SR1 does. And thank you so much for sitting down with me and talking to me a little bit about what you're doing. Because people, you literally hear about education and you hear about food. You hear all these huge problems and you're thinking nobody's out there working to solve it. But in the way that y'all have managed to create that triangle, that triad, to be able to do that. That's
and so
amazing.
I thank you so much for the opportunity and for us to share. And as you mentioned, always looking for great volunteers, passionate individuals, because that might be the spark that a child needs to start their career.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for watching another edition of Mississippi Stories. If you want to see more editions of Mississippi Stories, you can go to MississippiToday.org. Oh yeah, and you can check out our great coverage as well. If you like this video or any of the past videos, make sure you hit the like button. That way you'll make sure you get to see the great content from Mississippi Today. Hey, thank you. Until next time, this is Mississippi Stories. Thank you for watching this episode of Mississippi Stories. Make sure to subscribe to the Mississippi Today YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified every time a new video uploads.